All right, folks, welcome to 90.9, the quadratic four-year geometry quiz review video for 12.3 quiz tomorrow. Guys, I will give you the formulas for this. This is all the answers, all the detailed work. As always, we are brought to you by Coffee Espresso, Chinatown, and Ruby Tuesdays. Ruby Tuesdays is now a new sponsor. All right, guys, on this first page, you're talking about rectangular prisms and or a cube. So the surface area, again, guys, just the sum of all the areas. So the area of each face, add them all up, that's the total area, which is the surface area. Now, volume is really, for a lot of these, area of the base times the height, or because the area of the base is length times width, you can think of it as length times width times height. Anyway, the calculating volume is very easy on these. It's just 13 by 8 by 10. All right, just multiply those, length, width, and height. You get your volume very easily. Now, with the surface area, folks, you have two sides that are 13 by 8. 13 by 8, that's the bottom and the top. You have two sides that are 13 by 8. That's why we multiply 13 by 8 and double it. You have two sides that are 10 by 8, the right and the left. So that's why we do 10 by 8, double it. All right, then you have two sides, the front and the back, which are 13 by 10. 13 by 10 doubled, 260. We get, and add them up, you get 628. That's the surface area. All right, same thing here with number 2. The top and the bottom, 18 by 14, so that's why it's doubled. The right side and the left side, 14 by 15, that's why it's doubled. And then the front and the back, 18 by 15, that's why it's doubled. The volume is length times width times height, area of the base times height. That's the numbers we get there, folks. Okay, some of you ask, guys, it doesn't really matter. The volume can be a bigger number than the surface area. That's no big deal. Okay, remember, these are completely different units. This is square feet, like area on the ground, and this is volume, square footage, area just all around you, or the, space all around you, sorry. So don't worry about the units, what's bigger, what's not. Surface area here, folks, we got, you got a bottom and a top that's 16 by 6. You got a right and a left that's 6 by 11. And you have a front and a back that's 16 by 11. All right, and then volume is length times width times height. Those are the two numbers that we get for a cube. It's very easy because every single face is 9 by 9. So you have 6 faces that are 9 by 9. Every single face is 81 square feet, and there's 6 of them. That's 486. The volume is length times width times height, 9 times 9 times 9, 729 cubic feet. All right, that first page should be very easy. I think there's going to be 8 points a pop. If you get everything right, tomorrow you can get 111%. Find the surface area and volume of each triangular prism. Okay, again, surface area is the sum of all the areas. Now, triangular prism, you're going to have two triangles that act as the triangular base. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Now I have 2 of them, all right? So that's going to cancel. It's really 6 times 8. You should probably have another bracket around it. Gets you 48. Now you have a bottom rectangle that's 6 by 24. That's what BR stands for. A vertical rectangle, VR, that's 8 by that 24 slides over, 8 by 24. And what I call SR, the slant rectangle, that's 24 by 10. Add those products up, you get 624 is the surface area. Now the volume is area of the triangular base times the height, okay? So the triangular base, the base is a triangle, and the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. That's why, again, I'm going to use what's in here once more. Then I'm going to multiply it by the height of the prism. The height goes from base to base, so the height is actually 24. All right, multiply those two together, you get 576 cubic feet. So number 6 is just like that. You have two triangles that are 1/2 base times height. Again, those cancel, gives you 168. Then you have a bottom rectangle that's 7 by 43. You have a vertical rectangle that's 24 by 43. And you have a slant rectangle that's 43 by 25. Add them all up. That's your surface area. For the volume, you have area of the base times height. You have a triangular base that is 7 by 24, so 1/2 base times height. And the actual height of the prism goes from base to base, that's 43, and that's how you get your volume. It is on 7 and 8, which might be the hardest ones for you tomorrow that you have to do Pythagorean theorem on or know some 30, 60, 90 stuff on 8s. Again, you have two triangles that act as the base, 2 times 1/2 base times you actually need to figure out the height. So here's what we're going to do, folks. You have an isosceles triangle. That's nice. You're going to cut this in half because that's going to get you the height. 20, half of 20 is 10. Pythagorean theorem says 10 squared plus h squared is 18 squared. Do the Pythagorean theorem, you get like 14.97, which rounds up to 15.0. That's the height. That's the extra piece of work you have to do on 7 and 8. So plug 15 in here. The two triangles give you a total area of 300. You have a bottom rectangle that's 20 by 32. Now, because you have an isosceles triangle, you're going to, as a base, you're going to have two slant rectangles, two SRs, two slant rectangles that have the same dimensions. Again, this 18 goes over here, 18 by 32, and then 18 by that 32 moves over. Add them all up. Surface area is right there. Now, volume is the area of the base times the height. The base is a triangle, so it's 1/2 base times the height, which is 15, times the actual height of the prism. It goes from base to base. That's 32. Folks, plug it in, Glade style. All right, here's what you got to do on number 8, guys. You got to find the heights. Again, we could cut an equilateral triangle. That's nice. If you cut 32 in half, that's 16. You can do 16 squared plus h squared is 32 squared. Or because you had an equilateral triangle, 60, 60, 60, when you cut in half, you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Opposite 30 is your smallest side, 16. Opposite 60 would be 16 root 3. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to get 27.7 as the heights. So for surface area, you have two triangles that are 1/2 base times heights. Because you have an equilateral triangle as the base, you're going to have three congruent rectangles, 32 by 40, 44, 32 by 44, 32 by 44. You have three rectangles that are 32 by 44. Add this and this together, that's your surface area. For volume, again, it's the area of that triangular base. 1/2 base times heights. 1/2 base times heights times the heights of the actual prism, which goes from base to base, 44. Find the product, add them up, or just, find the product. You get a big volume there. Again, you're dealing with big numbers, guys. You're dealing with some large numbers here. Don't worry that your answers you get are quite large. Leave your answers in terms of pi, surface area, and volume of the cylinder. And this is like actual formulas here that I would give you, okay? You should not miss any cylinder because I have to give you everything. I either have to give you the diameter and the heights or the radius and the heights. All right, so surface area. So if the diameter is 16, the radius is 8. 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. Do 8 times 2 times 8 times 29 and slap on a pi. Do 8 squared doubled and attach pi. Add them up. 492 pi square centimeters. It clearly says leave your answers in terms of pi. All right, next one here, area or volume is pi radius squared times height. 8 squared is 64. Multiply it by 29 and attach pi. Here's the answer for 10. It's pretty self-explanatory. 2 times pi times radius times height plus 2 times pi times 11 squared. All right, then volume is pi times radius squared times the height. That's the answer we get. All right, here's the answer for 11, folks. Just take a look. It works pretty self-explanatory. Here's the answer for 12. Pause it. Again, work is pretty self-explanatory there. All right, no big deal. Let me help you real quick let me show you what we got going on for 13A mug, guys. That's a cylinder. That is 8 centimeters wide. That's the diameter, and 14 centimeters tall. That's the height. Can hold how many ounces? This is a volume question. Volume is pi radius squared times the heights. Get in terms of pi. Actually, type pi in your calc. Remember, a cubic centimeter is a milliliter. And if I want to go from milliliters to ounces, I just divide however many milliliters I have by 29.6. That's got 23.8 ounces. A big mug, we're talking about a bigger cylinder here, 14 centimeters wide. The diameter is 14. The radius is 7. The height is 22. 49 times 22, because you're going to square 7, gives you this many pi. Type that in your calc using pi, and you get this many milliliters, because 1 cc is a milliliter. Divided by 29.6. This one's brought to you by Tazos NT. The previous one by Quality Coffee. You got 114.4 ounces. And lastly, on 15, a rectangular tub. All right, that's a rectangular prism. Length, width, and height I give you, so just multiply them together. That's a lot of milliliters. I want to get it into ounces, so divide it then by 29.6, which I give you. And if I want to go from ounces to gallons, divide it again by 128. That's a lot of gallons. All right, guys, this is 90.9, the Quadratic, signing out.